Good evening, everybody. All right, just want to remind everybody we're probably on last call for people coming to the lake. We got one spot left in the second session, so we'd like to have somebody. Rather have a member up there than somebody else. All right, let's see what we got here tonight. That's not what we want. I've goofed this all up. Boy, oh boy. Hang on for a second. Okay. So as we saw today in the Dow, they took it down hard in the morning, but brought it back up in the afternoon. The NASDAQ, somewhat the same scenario. Took it down, but came right back up and closed right on the T-line this afternoon. And the S&P 500, something doesn't look right there. That's the S&P Plus. They've changed all the signals. The S&P closed right on the T-line. But here's the one to keep an eye on. The transportation index not only closed below the T-line, but they did it with relatively good force. Now, they're right here on the 20, so it'll still be very important tomorrow to see how they open this market. Nothing really influencing the market. Crude oil looks like it's in a bearish J-hook pattern, rolling over a little bit. Would suspect the next, here was a blue ice failure. Would suspect the next target is down here at the 200-day moving average. So the dollar has been in a nice strong uptrend ever since it broke through, was able to break through the 200, which means the euro also is in a very strong downtrend ever since it failed here at the 50 and then gapped down. So still would want to stay short the euro, long the dollar. Gold, whoops, that's not what I want to do. Gold, not going very much anywhere, but still in this slow meandering downtrend. Going to probably be caught in between the T-line and the moving averages here for the next little bit. I probably wouldn't be trading gold or silver one way or the other. It's probably the silver's kind of getting a dumpling top. Notice the kind of the dimple up here, sending it down. Now, if it came down through these moving averages, the next target is to fill this gap down in this area. And what else do we got? Interest rates. Not anything to. Bond prices seem to be relatively stable in here. Means interest rates aren't going to go anywhere. Been trading the feeder cattle and cattle because look at the kind of nice J-hook pattern that we're seeing in feeder cattle. Same scenario over in the live cattle charts. J-hook pattern, staying long as this doesn't close back below the T-line. And lean hogs, I'm going to stay short on this one ever since it's rolled over and closed below the T-line. Possibility of coming all the way back down to the 200-day moving average. All right, and I guess that's all in the commodities area. All right, some of the ones that we're following. NQ has gotten up here to the 50, kind of lollygagging here. So probably one or two things are going to happen. Either they're going to take it right up through, continue the uptrend, or if they back it off, they're going to back it off to the T-line, which in this case wouldn't be any real great consequence because if the T-line's up in here tomorrow, Means they're just going to bounce it down a little bit and then take it back up. The transportation index usually is the kind of the precursor to the other markets, only because if they're investing in transportation, that means the big money thinks things are going to get stronger in the economy. When they start selling off the transportation index, that also kind of indicates that they're starting to think things are going to get weaker in the economy. So the transportation index kind of acts like a precursor, I guess would be the right word, to the other indexes. As long as they're all strong, we're good. As long as the transportation index is strong, the other ones can waffle around without selling off. But when the transportation index starts selling off, then you've got to be careful of the rest of the indexes. Now, the rest of the indexes showed some strength today, but they're all doji days, which means if they open this lower tomorrow, they've failed to come back up above the T line. Means we're still heading down. So I wouldn't be ready to jump in this market with any great enthusiasm on the long side right now until I see what they're going to do with the open tomorrow. Again, because the transportation index has given us a little bit of a warning that there might be some selling going on. ARRS is one that we've been recommending here for a little bit, ever since the kind of the flutter kicker that broke through this, not flutter kicker, the doji sandwich that broke through this downtrending channel. And now we have another little doji sandwich that's broken out in a new territory. This one you just stay long until you see a sell signal. Apple has been a good strong one. Once again, with the kind of little gap up doji breaking out through this territory. Okay, thank you, Candle Trader. But this one's, as long as Apple stays above the T line, that's going to stay in a good uptrend. Now, usually if Apple's in an uptrend, that's an indication the market's not ready to sell off. AEM, another one that we've been holding, been a steady eddy where they haven't been able to close this one below the T line. And how come I can't read that? Oh. Ruckus. Ruckus is still moving up slowly toward the 200-day moving average. And that kicker type signal that broke you out through this level means our next target was probably up here at the 200. We recommended because of this J-hook pattern. And even though it sold off this morning, came right practically back to the T-line and right back up again, makes this very simple. If this opens positive tomorrow, you want to be buying immediately. Doji sandwich, breakout of the J-hook, just a high probability trade. POWR had some good juice going into it this morning, backed off a little bit today, but still setting up for maintaining this uptrend without coming back to the halfway point or the bottom of this trend channel. That means this, if they start bringing it back up, they're going to have enough force to go through this upper trend channel, say, lid. Started buying some LJPC today. Same scenario where the J-hook pattern is starting. This one can still be bought on positive trading tomorrow. Anytime you see that little doji spinning top gap up, especially through this little wedge, now we can see what type of pattern it's creating, that J-hook pattern. And let me see what else we got here. Oh, we recommended LGL, NGL. NGL is setting up, notice the scoop pattern. Then notice the doji sandwich. It came right back down and consolidated right on the T-line. Now remember, the T-line isn't something that acts like a magnet whereas a 50 or 200-day moving average do, because these moving averages are what everybody uses on their charts, and so they're usually going to be major decisions made once it comes to those moving averages. The T-line is something that nobody uses. So when it comes back to this level and bounces, it's because that's a natural kind of Fibonacci type number or area. But that's where human nature usually will come back before turning around. So now this one also has a very strong potential for a doji sandwich, which means if they break this out tomorrow, continuing the slingshot action to the upside, that you might be buying one set of calls like the August 45s in the morning and selling one of the other higher priced ones in the afternoon, because if the numbers work out, they're going to work out better if you do it on a staggered spread basis. How did you come up with 8 EMA? One of my early private training students, Rick Sadler, who now has hit or miss candlesticks, came up with it. He came down from Anchorage, Alaska, and sat for a whole weekend in front of the screens, got a lot out of candlesticks, and he had the wherewithal to go back and try to fine-tune so he would understand it completely. And then he came back a few months later and said, hey, take a look at this 8 exponential moving average. Very simple. If you see a candlestick buy signal and a close above the T-line, which we didn't call it the T-line at that time, you stay long until you see a candlestick sell signal or close below the T-line, with the caveat that the further away you move from the T-line, the higher the probability you're going to see it come back. So he was the one that came up with it. He was one of my first private training students. And so it was a case where he gained a lot of insights into candlesticks and then came up with this. So I was making very good money trading candlesticks, but my profitability improved dramatically once I started applying the T-line. T-line is short for trigger line, which is basically it triggers a buy if you see a candlestick buy signal and a close above the T-line. Our potential doji sandwiches going good point by strangles and straddles. No, I think the strangles and straddles are, you're hoping that your price isn't going to move. No, the doji sandwich is going to tell you when there's a good possibility of a move. That's right. Yep. Okay, let me zing right along here. So that's one that has a potential of a staggered spread tomorrow, as well as YY. Ooh, geez. It's that YY. Another one. It's coming out of a fry pan bottom J-hook type pattern right here. If this opens positive and has another day like this, if it opens positive, you buy maybe the 80s in the morning and sell the 85s in the afternoon, making your staggered spread that much more lucrative. And ITMN is another one that needs to stay above the T-line to stay long. And we closed out a couple today. WRES. Uh-oh, what happened here? WRES was closed out. It should have been closed out Thursday. Gave it one more day, but when it started trading back below the halfway point of this candle, it told us they weren't going this way, they were going this way. Anything that was left over was closed out. So again, this was, not only did you have the close below the T-line, but you could see the trajectory was that they weren't going to break it out. They were rolling this over. It was time to back out of this trade. A few other good charts right now. Sand. Sand can be bought on the bullish engulfing Little mini scoop type pattern, but I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading. And they were pointing out fold in the chat room today. Notice what it did. It consolidated, and this is what you like to see in an uptrending stock is consolidation. They consolidated right back to the T-line and bounced right back up again. Told you the bulls weren't going to let this close below the T-line. This one you can still be buying on positive trading tomorrow. VRA, another good-looking chart. Now, on the other charts, it showed more of a bullish candle today. But even so, if this opens positive, breaking out above the 20 and breaking out of this downtrending channel, you can be buying with the anticipation that you're heading for the 50-day moving average. Fuel, nice rounding bottom, doji sandwich that closed just above the 50-day moving average. This is another one you can be buying on positive trading with the anticipation they might take this all the way up to the top of this channel, which would give you a good strong run. And CHGG. This one, if it opens positive, you can be buying. You can be especially buying if they come up through the 50. RCPT. Notice what they did right here at the 50. Indecisive trading, bullish engulfing. Indecisive trading, doji gap up. This one you can be buying, especially if it comes back up through today's open. That tells you the bulls are still in control on this one. I would project that they could go to the top of this trend channel, which would take you up into about the $48 area. SWKS. Pull back right to the T-line. Now, they've started this one out with a kicker signal. That tells you there's going to be more upside. Consolidated back to the T-line. Bullish Harami hammer right at the T-line. Makes it very simple. If they open this positive, you want to be buying immediately. Our holding on plug, same scenario. Came right back to the T-line, opened positive. This one can still be bought on positive trading tomorrow, confirming the Morningstar type signal. Oh, back here at Apple, here's another thing about a doji sandwich. If you see something that's setting up as a doji sandwich and the next day isn't quite the same magnitude as this day, look for the second day. The combination of these 2 days will usually equate to that first day. LJPC, a little bit light. I don't know. Well, shows much. I lost the volume there. I didn't think it was. What's the volume? What was the volume today on LJPC? Here's another one that came right back to the T-line, Morningstar signal. This one you definitely want to be buying on positive trading tomorrow. 204,000. Okay, 204,000 on a stock that's trading at the $12 level. That's safe. Because when you get down to a 200,000 share day on a $5 stock, it might be getting a little bit light. This is in the safe range as far as volume is concerned. Let me see what else we got here. BDSI. This is to illustrate that when they gap it up and there's profit taking, just see when the profit taking is over. Remember, this is the message right here. That gap up. This one you can definitely be buying on positive trading tomorrow. Just simply use this area right here as your stop. It shouldn't come back down below the lows of the last couple of days. LPNT, this is to illustrate that same point. You have big move to the upside, profit taking. The next day we have a bullish Harami, which basically tells us the selling has stopped, which means if it opens positive, you can be buying immediately because we were given a message. When they gapped it out through this resistance level, coming out of these fry pan bottoms, I told you the enthusiasm has come back, the profit taking's over. Now you can be buying on the enthusiasm again. What did I just do? LPNT, okay. UHS. Same example. A gap up, profit taking. If they open it positive, especially when they do a doji, it tells you they're going to move it in the direction how they open it. It tells you the profit taking's over. You still going to see more upside. CMGE. Whoops. CMGE. This one has come up off a bullish engulfing signal, gap up through the T-line, pulled right back to the T-line, now telling us that the T-line is going to hold. This one you can be buying. And the factor, you have a bullish signal and then a gap up a couple of days later through the T-line. That tells you the bulls are in here with great enthusiasm. And that's where you want to be buying stocks, is at the low end of the range with great enthusiasm. Notice twice they bounced off the 50, came up, hit the 200, pulled back. Now up through the 200, that tells us we're going higher. Here's your trend channel on the bottom. Here's your trend channel on the top. Look for it to come up into this area. And let's see, VECO. This one we just did that. That's just great. And PTCT. PTCT, this one you can buy on positive trading. If they bounce off of here, off the T-line, and start trading positive, like you see in plug, that tells you they're not going lower, they're bouncing off that level. See, we did VDSI, we did that, SUNE. Another one that's doing bullish engulfing right after a doji, a left-right combo. This one you get ready to buy on positive trading. Once again, there's your trend channel with your next target to the top of the trend channel. And we did SUN Wind Resorts. This one with the Morningstar signal, you can be buying this one now that you've broken out of this wedge formation. So the nice thing that we have as far as a visual aspect of candlesticks is we can see what the signal is right now. And what that signal tells us is it's probably in a bullish trend. And that bullish trend is already broken through the top of this wedge. That tells us we're going to have a breakout to the upside. And we did Apple. The fry pan bottoms, Noah has got a nice big fry pan bottom. Look where Noah is right now, right about where this fry pan bottom started. And at the 200-day moving average, this you buy immediately on positive trading. This is the point where if you're going to buy a fry pan bottom, you buy it on the breakout because that tells you the enthusiasm is going to start coming in excessively. So if you're timing for buying stock and or options, this is the perfect place to be going after it. What's CQG? DJ, I don't know. It must be the most expensive one because it's up to $1,200 a month. SUMR. Another fry pan bottom breakout. Notice the gap up through this level. You stay long until you see a sell signal. And ABC, kind of a fry pan bottom breakout. You're probably going to be in a 45 degree off of here. So there's still a lot of good looking charts. We shorted a couple today. 5 can be shorted still on weakness, which would indicate a bearish J-hook pattern. And SMY is SZYM. Also, get ready to short this one on weakness. If they do a doji sandwich tomorrow, bearish doji sandwich, tells us this level is not going to act as support. That tells us we're in wave 3 to the downside. At least this is one target, probably even lower. Achilles, no. This is exactly why you want to know what happens with a pattern. Where's a pattern usually going to break out? Usually when you're in the overbought conditions of a stochastics. So that's why you want to know the criteria for a pattern breakout. We're always looking for the buys in the oversold condition, looking for buy signals, but we're looking for pattern breakouts, which usually are going to occur when your stochastics have already climbed up to the overbought condition. Okay, that's about all I got tonight. With that, are there any questions or candlestick general questions? Is there a way to trade the US dollar or euro by trading an ETF rather than trading the Forex? Yes, I prefer doing that myself. Let's see, which ones are these? Views, okay. If you're trading, if I was trading the dollar, which I'm not today, I'd be trading the, whatever they were. This is the, this must be the September contract. I forget what U is. F.DX. September contract, yep. So I'd be buying the September contracts. Same thing with the euro. You're going to be buying the or shorting the September contract. So those are the futures. Oh, and I guess there is an ETF, the UUP. Yeah, so there's the trading. You can trade the dollar by buying the ETF. A sell signal closed above the T line. You still wait for the confirmation. Yes, if you're close to the T line. Now, if you've moved a good distance away from the T line, where it tells you the probabilities are they're going to bring it back to the T line, yeah, as soon as you see that sell signal getting confirmed, you short it or you close it out immediately with the anticipation that it's going to come back down at least to test the T line. Okay, let's see. When you give, whoops, I skipped something here. When you give your daily summary and you say trade sector-specific stocks like you did today, can you guide us? Can you also briefly guide us which sectors are good ones? Larry, that will usually be illustrated in the stocks that we're trading. So sector-specific, I mean, we've still got stocks that are trading well, but they're in, pshaw. So some of the techs are moving, or the mobiles are moving well, like in NQ, or Yeah, so it's not that it's any specific that we're going after sector specific. It's usually the stocks that are acting well are because they're in a particular sector. Let's see. Whoops. Okay. Sell signals. All right. Yeah. When seasonally goes up July 24th to August 6th. Okay. All right. Thank you, Betsy. You mentioned something like price will migrate to high volume. So if there is a spike in price with big volume, when price or will price then tend to pull back to that high price? No, no. The volume, the price coming to volume usually is done on the level 2, where if you're seeing what the bid and the ask are, and you can see that there's big volume at a ask price above the current price, it's probably going to move to that level because somewhere out there's another big money person wanting to buy, and they know they can't buy based on the little volume that's going dated or minute to minute or in between where that big volume is. They're going to have to wait and do their purchasing when it gets to that big volume. So usually there's not that much selling going on until it hits that big volume area. So it's so it kind of acts as its own self-perpetuating movement. That yeah, if you see if big money sees that there's a big what do I say a big buyer below the current price and they want to sell, that price will usually move down to that big volume so that big seller can sell at that point. So remember, our little trades and most people's little trades aren't going to move a price around. It's the big blocks that are going to move price. When starting out, how do you decide what to buy with a $10,000 account? It's not what you decide to buy, it's how you buy it. I would set that size account up with maybe buying 4 $2,500 positions, all equal dollar amount, and then pick out what you would analyze as being the best stock positions. But I'd keep my positions all equal dollar amount. How do I find what the volatility is on a particular stock? You don't really have to. I mean, you can visually see what the volatility is. If I was ready to buy this stock, ARRS, or buying it right here as it broke out to this level, I know this move was, let's make this big enough where I can read it. This move went from 25, let's say 26 to 34, 8 points. So I know this move will be 8 points. Now, is 8 points from a $32 price up to, say, 40 worthwhile? Yeah, that's a 25, 30% move. Dave, sir, we'll get to the individual ones here in a little bit. The Doji sandwich. The Doji sandwich. The Doji sandwich. A Doji sandwich is when you have a big candle, a doji, and we know the simple rule of a doji. It's going to move in the direction of how they open it after a doji. So if they open this positive, you want to buy immediately because more than likely the magnitude of this candle is going to be the same as the magnitude as this candle. So you have a big move, a doji, a big move, thus the doji in between, the doji sandwich. Yeah, and you can see that's true. But if I'm looking at a buy position, say I'm going to buy right in here, I can see that over a 3-week period, 4-week period, it moved from 80 to 55. It could possibly move that same magnitude up here. That's good enough volatility. What I don't want to see, I think, maybe that's not the right one. What I don't want to see is if I see a very good price move, like in Coca-Cola, and that big price move is $2 on a $38 stock, that's 5%. I'd rather be someplace where if the price moved big, it's going to move 50% or 10% or 20%. So that's why when I say this is an institutional trader, it means it's not going to move around a whole lot. This is the type the institutions put in their account and just hold on to it for X number of years. Let's see. Good evening. You doing all right? Does Doji Sandwich help during intraday or only during open? No. Remember, the candlestick signals and patterns are the accumulative knowledge of everybody buying and selling during a particular time frame. Whether that time frame is a daily chart or a 1-minute chart, they all work exactly the same. Okay, Jim, let's go ahead and do the double line. And in 3.8 seconds, let's do the second double line. Okay. MPW. MPW. That one you can stay long, coming out of this little rounding, but notice what it did. It broke through the 50 on a, this is what called a stick sandwich, big up day, big down day, big up day. That's wiped out all the sellers. Should be more upside. CMCSA. This one is what you call a steady eddy. All you can really do here is stay long as it doesn't close below the T-line. Now, you've had days where it's closed below the T-line. All you can do here is close out and buy it back. Once again, if this was a 10-point move and I only got 8 points, that's fine with me because at least I know every time I was in it, it had the probabilities of going higher. Each time it closed below the T-line, it had probabilities of going lower. So I could close out the position and always buy it back. First Solar, you got to remember, you're in this big sideways move. However, you are now not getting to a new low. Your next target should probably be somewhere, if you drew a parallel line here and here, probably the next target is somewhere up in this range. FAS, another one where you just stay long. I wouldn't be trading this one just because of the lack of magnitude of movement. But you can see that it's still in a slow uptrend wedge. Stay long until you see a sell signal. Las Vegas Sands. This one needs to break out. You can see it's kind of doing a double bottom. Another one that because of the lack of magnitude of move, I mean, if it moves from here back up to here, that's 4 points on a $78 stock. That's only about 3.5%, 4%. I think there's probably better things to be trading right now until it does break out. Now, it could come back up to the top of the trend channel. If you were buying it, you buy it on the basis that you look for your resistance right up here. Let's see, CHRW. Another one that has to open positive and trade positive, but also be aware that this is not a very active stock. It took about 2 months for it to move 10%, but it's a nice steady eddy, so all you can do on this one is stay long as it stays above the T-line. SLCA, same scenario, but this is a nice steady eddy. This one has a very hard time closing back below the T line. You just stay long on this one until you see a sell signal. KEX, same scenario. It needs to stay above the T line to stay with it. Let's see, SDS. Is that what we're looking for? S.SDS. Ultra short, still in a downtrending channel, but it's a doji right on the T line. If it opens positive, which means the market's going to be heading down, you can be buying this one. Notice a little doji gap up. VJet, yeah, VJet has kind of lost its energy. Waiting for this one to see a buy signal, which I would anticipate. Now they're going to bring it back to the 50-day moving average. Nothing there right now. Tweeter, another one that's kind of lost its energy. It's got to break out through the 20. Let's make this big enough where we can see it. You have had a bounce up, but this could be the dimple. It might take a few days like we saw here, where it kind of circles around before it heads back up. I would rather be, if this closes below the T line, you close it out, because that tells you they're moving sideways, waiting for the 50 to catch up. It needs to see a strong bullish move, probably tomorrow, to stay in it. SPWR, kind of a little kicker type signal, but this one you can be buying on positive trading. Just use the T line as your stop, and just be aware of what it does once it gets to the top of this little trend channel. S.NG. Nothing here yet except the possibility of a doji sandwich. So if this opens positive tomorrow, you can be buying. Then just don't let it close back below the T line. Bidu, you stay long. When it came out of this slow curve, you can see the explosive move. You stay long until you see a sell signal. At this point, with seeing a doji up here, I probably wouldn't want to see it traded all below this level. And I probably wouldn't want to see it close below the halfway point of this candle, because that would mean it's closed below the low of today's doji. And Google L, just hovering here on the T line, just like the indexes, it's going to move in the direction of how they open it after the today's doji. That way you get ready to see if it opens lower, you close out the position. SQNMN, this one is probably something you want to be buying on positive trading tomorrow. Anytime you see a flat trading area with a Morningstar signal at the end of it, that usually acts like that mini scoop slingshot effect coming off of there. And SFXE, I don't know. You can, yeah, this one just doesn't have a chart that would get me. It needs something strong to tell you that they've broken out of that sideways trading range. And CCJ, this one has to open positive. If it opens lower tomorrow, you close it out immediately. It has to open positive to stay in this one. And Nubo, you just stay long as this stays above the T line. Obviously, you're going to get this little T line crunched into the 50, but just stay long until they can break it through. Boeing, you stay short until you see a buy signal. Ever since the kicker type signal to the downside, making wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, somewhat the same magnitude as this move, which was 5 points. That means we should be heading down. It was more than 5 points. That was 38. That was 10 points. That should take us down to about the 118 level. And plug, you can still be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. As you can see, this is an uptrending stock, kicker signals. Now you have a Morningstar type signal, especially if they open up positive, moving further away from the T line. And EK, W, there's the bullish engulfing signal off the 20, and you're right at this level. If they open this positive, it tells us this level is not acting as resistance. You want to be buying immediately. PWE. This one you can be buying on positive trading. Just be aware of what they do once they get to the 50, but they should get through the 50 to fill this gap. So, but just be conscious of what it does once it gets to the 50. And XGTI, this one, if it opens lower tomorrow, you close it out. Just like it's the other belt holds, I started selling it off. If they open this lower, close out the position. Disney. Let's make this big enough where we can see it. This one you continue to hold. Again, not a very active, volatile one, but you're in an uptrend. You stay long on this one as long as it doesn't close below the T-line. IGA, this one you can be buying on positive trading, which would tell you your bullish engulfing signal, confirmation, now additional confirmation of closing or getting up above the T-line. You can be buying with the anticipation that if they get through here and here, they're coming up to test the recent highs, which should give you a little bit of running room. Weyerhaeuser, you can be buying this one. Once again, not a very big magnitude mover, but if it opened positive, tells you this down or the bottom of the trend channel is acting as support. The T-line is not acting as resistance. Next target could be at the top of this trend channel. And Valero, you stay short. Oops, no, you don't. Valero needs to open positive and trade positive. It was trading lower at one point today. But if this opens positive, you can be buying. Tesla. Tesla did a long-legged doji. This is going to move in the direction of how they open it tomorrow. So if they open it positive, you can be buying with the anticipation that this rounding bottom is going to take you back up to the top of the trading range. Rope. Big bullish engulfing. This one you buy on the basis that the bigger the signal, the higher the probability there's been a dramatic change of investor sentiment. And FEYE. Just isn't doing anything real active. If you own it, you stay long, but if it closes back below the T-line, you close it out just because the trajectory of the uptrend will be so minuscule, you'll want it to be someplace else. Dara, you get ready to buy this. You've had the gap up. You've had the consolidation. Notice when it consolidated the last couple of days, it was indecisive. Get ready to buy this on positive trading. Still has the potential of coming up to test the 200-day moving average. In MMYT, this one you stay long. That's that one you can be buying on positive trading tomorrow, also using the T-line as your stop. AEM, you stay long on this one. They haven't been able to close this below the T-line. This is a nice steady eddy. Stay with it until you see a sell signal and a close below the T-line. WFT. Wait until the profit taking's over. You need to see another buy signal to let you know that that little J-hook type pattern setup is in progress. GG, you can be buying this one on positive trading. That big bullish engulfing signal tells you there's been a drastic change of investor sentiment going positive. Here's another one that can be bought on positive trading, coming up through the 20, making the 50 your next target, which was your last resistance level. CCR, nothing here yet. I wouldn't be buying this one until it comes back up through probably the 50 or this congestion area. But right now, if I owned it, it would have to open positive to stay in it tomorrow. And KPTI got soggy today. It has to open positive, trade positive, staying above the 50, but get back up above the T-line. Costco, I wouldn't be long or short. This one's just moving sideways. There's nothing here that would get me excited about owning this one. COG, nothing here yet either. There's that big bearish belt hold, bringing you back down below the T-line. You need to see a strong buy signal and a close above the T-line to tell you to stay in this one. AKAM, this one you can be buying, but I'd rather buy this if it came back up through today's open. You do have a kicker signal that still probably will have an influence in the next price move. Facebook, stay long. At this point, I wouldn't want to see it trade back below today's low. That would tell me they're bringing it back down to test the T-line. And Ford, you stay with this one. If you closed out on a short-term basis or on short-term trading, get ready to buy it back if it comes back up through the T-line. If you're holding this long-term, like most of the accounts I've got it in, as long as it doesn't come right now back to the below the 50, you want to stay with this one. JCPenney. So this one you get ready to buy, especially on a doji sandwich, which means you'd be coming back up, putting pressure on this level. This one you can be buying right now for short-term as well as long-term. And GDXJ. This one you can be buying if it breaks out. It just hasn't had a very strong reversal. This is not a reversal signal. I'd be more skeptical. You can buy this on positive trading. I just want probably another strong signal. AD, Robert, isn't coming up. The Qs staying above the T-line, but just like the the NASDAQ, it has to open positive and stay above the T-line to stay in it. MPW, stay long on this one. Venda, you stay long as this stays above the T-line, but this one needs to also open positive and get up through the 20, otherwise the 20 is going to be acting as resistance. And HT, you can get ready to buy this one. What's the volume on? I guess the volume is all right. This one you can be buying on positive trading. A little kicker signal that's breaking you out through this level. So you want to buy this on positive trading because this trend channel will then be breached. And TETR, whoops, not found. Let's try this. TETR. No, that's not working, sorry. CPE never got back up above the T-line. This one right now, if it opens lower, you can go short. Just be nimble on this one because you have been in an uptrend. Bank of America. I wouldn't be long or short this one. That's a nothing chart. And APD. This one you get ready to buy on positive trading. The profit taking is over the last couple of days. Be ready to buy this on positive trading. The SPY, same. Just this one has to open positive tomorrow. Okay, good. Yes, Rob Roy will be with us tomorrow at 3:30. It was at 3:30. It'll be 3:30 Central, 4:30, I think, Eastern time. All right. Thank you, Candle Trader. Scotty, You stay long as it stays above the T line, but you definitely want to see this break out through the recent tops. And Tweeter, we did. Tweeter kind of running out of steam. It needs to see a big day to get it out of this congestion area. QIHU. Okay. QIHU, this one you stay long until you see a sell signal. At this point, I wouldn't want to see it traded all back below today's open. That would tell you the sellers are in control. WABA. Where did I just get that one from? Oh, down there. Huh? WABA. WABA, you can be buying. Just use the T-line as your stop. And SNSS. This one is done kind of a hanging man, but it's too early. It's not in the overbought condition. If it opens lower, you take profits, and then you just put a buy stop at today's open. If it comes back up through there, it's breaking through the highs. MPEL. MPEL, you can be buying this one with the anticipation your next target is the 200-day moving average. Is opening positive meaning opening green if long, or just opening above the doji, or it doesn't matter that the color of it originally opens? Now you want to see it open positive. So once it opens positive, you don't necessarily jump in. You just kind of sit there and give it a couple minutes. If it opens positive and they start backing off, then you don't buy until they come back up through the open, because that tells you whatever profit taking real quick was over. If it opens positive and starts trading positive, then you can jump in, because that's exactly what it's supposed to be doing. PRMW, another one that I would rather pay $5.10 for it, knowing that it broke out of this trading range. Okay. Last one, IBB. I wouldn't be long or short this one. It's going into a wedge. Oh, for a short? Yeah, if you up above the T-line. Okay, let's call it a night. Remember, if you've got... okay, Dustin, you want that? We'll get you taken care of right now. Nat, she's working on that. We should, I think she said August 4th we would have something set up for the combo for both the regular room and the option room. We don't know. That's what we're working on. Long-term stuff. Long-term stuff, we are trying to get, we've got 2 or 3 people set up that have different newsletters that are oriented towards specific sectors. We're trying to get them all assembled into our long-term picks area. So essentially, we'll target the sectors or the stocks because of the charts telling us it's time to look at them for long-term, and then you'll have research to go to immediately to study more about what that stock, that sector, all potential is, and that way you can make your own decision of which sectors you want to be in. Should we expect small moves, no good trends during the month of August? Marty, you never expect anything. I don't ever expect anything one way or the other. I just let the charts tell me what's happening. Remember, a lot of people say sell in May and go away. Well, Have I looked into Better Joe's program? Oh, Joe cut me to the quick. Now I forgot what I was saying. Now August. Yeah, there's generalities on everything, but they're generalities. I always look to see what the charts are actually telling me. Is the option room a new service? Yes, it's what we were trying to do, Peter, is that's why we don't promote it as being, we just make it available, and we will be having some people come in to the options room that we've got a couple of people that are associated with Bill Johnson and Ron Ianieri to give some more insights. Plus, we got a couple of good people like Don M. That put out some very good formulas and scans for different option trades. We got Nora in there, Big Al. So it allows more conversation on different option strategies, which doesn't jumble up over in the other room. That's right. Yeah, you know how easy it is to hurt my feelings. Rob Roy tomorrow. Yeah, I think he works quite a bit with the Fibonacci numbers too. Okay. With that, everybody have a good evening. The people that are going to the lake, I will be contacting you this week to give you all the details. And it looks like we might have the last spot finally filled. So with that, everybody have a good evening. We'll see you in the chat room tomorrow.